I'll be in the studio recording soon. And I also have a book coming out. I did not intend to write a book, but I was literally writing out my confessions, kind of journaling, where I wanted to be in life because I was so not there. Mm-hmm. And it was something that I did daily because it was there.
This isn't just another celebrity rumor anymore. It feels like something far more disturbing just detonated behind sealed courtroom walls. Insiders are saying the second Warryn Campbell stepped in carrying those documents. The entire atmosphere shifted. No signal, no lead up, just a chilling stillness. The kind that makes a room forget how to breathe. Because from what's being whispered, this wasn't just texts. We're talking alleged hidden voice recordings, after-hours call histories, and footage that was never supposed to surface. And somehow, all of it is now being connected to Tina Campbell in a way nobody saw coming. But this is where everything takes a darker turn. Sources claim the $300 million case tied to Teddy Campbell didn't just point fingers. It allegedly cracked open something much deeper, something that could shift this from private drama into a full-scale legal disaster. And then, everything stopped. Insiders say the judge allegedly paused mid-examination, stared down at what was presented, and the entire courtroom went still. Because if even a piece of this is confirmed, this isn't just about image anymore. This is about consequences that don't go away. Online reactions are already spiraling out of control, some suggesting serious legal fallout, even possible prison time, while others are locked onto a different question. What hasn't come out yet? Because behind the scenes, insiders are hinting this might only be the beginning. And if there are more recordings hidden somewhere, then this story isn't slowing down anytime soon. It's only getting bigger.
Know what happened on the WeTV series Mary mm-hmm. Tina Campbell found out that there was an adulterous relationship that happened in the course of her marriage, and it's nothing new. There's a lot of people who go through it, but it was one of the ones that was broadcasted. So
this didn't just leak. It feels like something detonated inside that courtroom, and insiders say the second those files hit the table, there was no undoing it. Because according to multiple reports, the moment Warryn Campbell allegedly introduced that evidence, the entire atmosphere shifted. No murmurs, no reactions, just silence. The kind of silence that tells you something was never meant to surface. And it seems what was buried inside those files wasn't just ordinary communication. Insiders are claiming it included private voice recordings, late-night call histories, and possibly video clips, material that allegedly hints at a connection that was never supposed to be exposed. Now here's where everything intensifies. Because once that evidence entered the room, every thread started leading back to Tina Campbell, and suddenly, this stopped looking personal and started feeling like a legal unraveling. Then came the turn nobody anticipated. The $300 million lawsuit tied to Teddy Campbell. Insiders say this wasn't just about betrayal anymore, this was about impact, control, and exposure. And then, that moment in the courtroom. Sources claim the judge allegedly paused mid-review, locked eyes on the material, and for a few seconds nobody moved. Because if even part of this gets verified...
I want to clear some things up. It wasn't that simple. It was a lot of affairs over a lot of years. And I found out over several months. And all this time I was trying to forgive my husband. So as I thought I was becoming better and forgiving and letting go and moving forward and, trying to get back to the real us, I kept finding, there was another one. Oh, there was another one. Oh, that wasn't a couple months. That was that.
We're not just talking about headlines. We're talking real consequences. Online discussions are already spiraling out of control, with some claiming there could be serious legal penalties, even potential prison time, while others are questioning how deep this situation actually goes. But here's the part that's making people uneasy. Insiders are hinting that what's been seen so far might only be a fraction. Some are even claiming there are more recordings. There are more names. And if that turns out to be true, then this situation doesn't just stay a scandal. It turns into something much bigger, something layered, something that could pull in more people, more secrets, and more fallout. Right now, nothing has been officially confirmed. But the documents, the alleged leaks, and the reactions coming out of that courtroom are already painting a picture that's hard to ignore. And if the next hearing brings even more evidence into the light, then this doesn't end as a controversy. It escalates into something that could permanently change everything. Because it looks like this story isn't slowing down, it's building.
This far to leave me. I had to hold on to that because I was like, God, you did leave me. You set me up. You fixed me. I'm out here being inspirational, singing your music, and this is what's going on in my crib. And then I had to realize God didn't do nothing to me. God didn't do that to me. My husband made it.
It looks like the situation didn't calm down after that courtroom moment. It escalated. Insiders say the energy outside the courtroom shifted almost immediately, phones lighting up, quiet conversations turning into urgent calls, because whatever was allegedly shown inside didn't stay contained for long. And that's when things started leaking. Not official documents, not confirmed filings, but descriptions, fragments of what people claim they saw. And according to those circulating accounts, the alleged material wasn't just emotional, it was detailed. Time-stamped interactions, patterns of communication, moments that, when placed side by side, started forming a narrative that many are calling too consistent to ignore. And once those descriptions hit online spaces, everything split. Some users began defending Tina Campbell, saying this could be misinterpreted, edited, or taken out of context. But others weren't convinced, because insiders are claiming that the alleged evidence didn't come as isolated pieces. It came as a sequence, a timeline. And if that timeline holds up, then this isn't just about what happened. It's about how long it may have been happening.
I've got to be able to share with people, this is where I was 1 year ago. 1 year ago, I was attacking my husband. I was fighting, stabbing, crashing, drinking, cursing, doing all of this kind of stuff, plotting and planning and I was going to go through with all of it if God wouldn't have rescued me. But I prayed constantly. I would act crazy, do crazy stuff, and then I would pray and be like, God, if you help me, I ain't going to trip. But if you don't help me, I'm going to kill somebody.
Right.
These were my regular.
Then came another shift, because reports suggest legal teams on both sides began recalibrating their strategies almost instantly. And that kind of reaction doesn't happen unless something unexpected enters the case. Something that tilts leverage. Some are now speculating the $300 million claim connected to Teddy Campbell might be more than just a financial move. It could be pressure. A way to control the narrative before it spins completely out of control. But this is where it becomes even more intense. Because insiders are now hinting not all of the alleged evidence has been revealed yet. Some are claiming there are still unreleased materials, content that hasn't been played in court. And if that's true, then what we've seen so far might not even be the most damaging part. At the same time, attention is quietly shifting toward Warryn Campbell. Because if these alleged files did come through him, people are starting to ask questions. How long were they in his hands? Why bring them forward now? And what else might still be in his possession? There's no confirmation.
I noticed as I started trying to forgive, I was getting better. And I was like,
and that's what it does to you.
Unforgiveness was holding me
forgiveness
hostage.
Is not for the other person. It is for you.
Right there.
Yeah,
and so many people don't know that. I can say that because I know it's personal. Forgiveness was for me.
But the timing is what's making people uneasy. Because insiders say this wasn't a gradual reveal. This was sudden, calculated, and it landed at the exact moment it could have the maximum impact. And then another layer. Some online discussions are now suggesting that this situation might not stay limited to just the names already involved. There are whispers, unverified but spreading fast, that additional connections could surface. Not confirmed, not documented, but enough to make people start watching closely. Because if more names do appear, then this stops being a contained legal dispute and turns into something wider. Something that could affect reputations beyond just one case. Meanwhile, the emotional fallout is becoming harder to ignore. Fans who once saw a clear image are now dealing with uncertainty. Some are stepping back. Others are doubling down. And a growing number are simply waiting to see what comes next. Because right now, everything is sitting in a dangerous place. Not confirmed. Not dismissed. Just building. And insiders say the next hearing could be critical. Not just for legal outcomes, but for what might finally be revealed in full. Because if even part of what's being hinted at actually surfaces in court, then this won't just reshape the narrative. It could redefine it completely. And until that moment comes, one thing is becoming harder to deny. This situation isn't fading. It's tightening. And whatever happens next might be the part no one is prepared for. It looks like the pressure didn't stay contained inside that courtroom. It followed them straight out. Insiders say in the hours after that alleged evidence moment, the conversations behind the scenes grew even more intense. Not louder, but quieter, more calculated, like every word was being measured before it was spoken. Because at this point, it's no longer just about what was shown. It's about what it could mean if it holds up. And that's where everything takes another turn. Reports suggest legal observers are now focusing less on the story and more on the pattern. Because if the alleged timeline being discussed online carries any weight, then this situation may not be judged by a single moment. It could be examined as a chain of actions. And in legal terms, that changes everything. At the center of it all remains Tina Campbell. And insiders claim the real pressure isn't just coming from the case itself. It's coming from the contrast. Because the public image and the allegations being discussed are moving in completely opposite directions. And that kind of gap is where narratives collapse the fastest. Then came another unexpected shift. Because according to circulating reports, some individuals close to the situation are allegedly being approached for clarification. Not officially, not under oath, but quietly. And that usually signals one thing. There may be more context behind the scenes that hasn't surfaced yet. Meanwhile, attention is circling back again to Warryn Campbell. Because insiders say the way the alleged material was introduced didn't feel random. It felt deliberate, structured. And that's raising a different kind of question now. Was this just evidence being presented? Or was it a strategic reveal? There's no confirmed answer. But the discussion is growing. And then, the digital reaction intensified. Clips, breakdowns, slowed analyses. People are dissecting every alleged detail that's been described. Some are pointing out inconsistencies. Others are saying the pieces align too perfectly. And once public opinion starts splitting like that, the narrative becomes unpredictable. Because now it's not just about facts. It's about interpretation. At the same time, the lawsuit tied to Teddy Campbell is being viewed from a different angle. Not just as a legal move, but as a possible pressure point. Because a claim of that scale doesn't just sit quietly in the background. It influences decisions. It shapes responses. And according to some observers, it may be forcing everything to move faster than expected. But here's where the situation becomes even more uncertain. Because insiders are now suggesting that the next phase of the case could involve direct challenges to the alleged evidence itself. Questions about authenticity, about context, about how and when certain materials were obtained. And if that happens, then everything shifts again. Because now it's not just about what the evidence shows. It's about whether it can even be used. That kind of shift can change outcomes completely. Cases have turned on less. Narratives have collapsed on less. And right now, this situation is balancing right on that edge. Behind all of it, there's a growing sense that something bigger is still sitting just out of view. Not confirmed, not visible, but close. Because the way insiders are talking, it doesn't sound like this is the full picture yet. It sounds like a setup for something else. And if that's true, then the next reveal won't just add to the story. It could reframe it entirely. For now, everything remains in motion. No final rulings. No confirmed outcomes. Just layers of claims, reactions, and unanswered questions continuing to build. But one thing is becoming clearer with every update. This isn't slowing down. It's tightening. And whatever comes next might not just impact the case. It could define how this entire situation is remembered. It feels like everything has been building to this exact point. Not an ending, but a fracture. Because insiders say what happens next isn't just another hearing. It's the moment where everything that's been implied, murmured about, and allegedly surfaced could finally be entered into record. And if that happens, there's no controlling the narrative anymore. No framing. No speculation. Just whatever emerges, raw and irreversible. Right now, the situation surrounding Tina Campbell is sitting in a space more volatile than certainty. It's uncertainty backed by alleged evidence. Because if even a portion of those claims connected to Warryn Campbell and the lawsuit involving Teddy Campbell actually holds up, then this won't just be remembered as a scandal. It could become a turning point. A moment where perception, legacy, and reality collide all at once. But until that next reveal happens, everything remains suspended. Unconfirmed, unresolved, and building. So now the question isn't just what happened. It's what hasn't been revealed yet. Because if insiders are right, if there really are more layers, more material, more connections waiting to surface, then what we've seen so far might only be the beginning. And that's exactly why you need to stay locked in. Because the next update might not just shift the story. It could expose it completely. So don't look away now. Watch closely, because this isn't over.